Hey guys, we're back at Gamescom 2010 and I'm joined by Jay Wilson from Blizzard. We're chatting all things Diablo 3. Jay, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure.
Now, today you presented a panel, lots of questions on when the game's coming out, but we'll skip right ahead on that one. You also revealed the Artisan. Tell us a little bit about the Artisan and what it represents to players.
So Artisans are NPCs that you can encounter within the game world that will, once you earn their loyalty, they'll essentially lend you their skills as craftsmen. So they'll live within your town, they'll make items for you, do enchantments, enhance gems, basically do all kinds of cool things that have to do with crafting items and customizing items for you.
But you have to get them on side first, right?
Yeah, the first step in meeting an artisan is really discovering his story and earning his loyalty. Each artisan's a little different. Each one's got their own kind of issues that they need help with. The blacksmith, which is the first one you encounter, really needs help putting his family to rest. They died in the initial attack at the beginning of the game, and so once you help him with that, you basically earn his loyalty. Whereas the jeweler is much more about greed, so he kind of more couples up with you because he thinks it's going to profit himself.
Now we'll clear it up and say that they are NPCs, as you mentioned. They're not combat crew that will actually roam with you and fight.
No, they are NPCs. They live within the towns. They help you in the way that they can, which is they can craft items and they can enhance items, but they're lovers, not fighters.
Now you're also keen not to get people returning to town so often, and you're putting a couple of systems in place to help with that. What are you doing there?
Yeah, one of the big things is we've added salvaging, which is a key part of making items. Whenever you have an item that you don't really want to bother selling and you need materials for crafting, you can put it in this handy little cube-like device and deconstruct it down into a bunch of crafting materials. And you can do that anywhere. So if your bags are full and you have items that you want to pick up off the ground, you can just salvage a few and create some space. And that way you don't have to go back to town nearly as often.
And gold is going to play a much more active role in Diablo 3 than it did in Diablo 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of our goals is to make sure that there's a really good economy in Diablo 3. And to do that, we have to have things to spend money on. And artisans are a great source of ways to spend money because there's so many cool things that they can do, but all those things cost materials and cost gold. Also, when you're pulling items out, when you're basically salvaging items instead of selling them, that means you are gaining less gold as well, which is a good thing for creating a stable economy.
And town portals are getting the flick.
Yes, we removed town portals from the game. We found them to be a really crippling combat exploit. We also find that while they have some cooperative uses, they also tend to split players up a lot because as soon as players want to go back to town, they do, and then they've got to try and figure out how to get back to their party, and we just don't want players to ever be split up. But the big thing is combat exploit. When you can essentially portal out of any situation, it makes it almost impossible for us to create a game that's challenging and compelling, a world that feels like you're really immersed in it. To replace town portals, as we've mentioned, we've added salvaging, and we actually have a couple other systems that we haven't shown yet that help with that. So really the goal is for you not to miss them.
And hardcore mode, you seem to get a few happy nods in the audience there when you revealed that the game will include a hardcore mode. For anyone that didn't play it in Diablo 2, can you give us a little rundown and how you're going to implement it in the third game?
So hardcore mode is essentially an option you select when you create your character. You say, I want to make a hardcore character. And the way a hardcore character works is if they die, they're dead forever. So you'll never get them back. You can't get back anything they were wearing. They're just gone. So it's a real badge of honor to have a max level character with really great items that is a hardcore character because it means you've played through the entire game in all the difficulty settings without dying.
And you're going to be doing some interesting things to surface those users on Battle.net?
Yeah, we haven't decided exactly what we're going to do, but we definitely want to make sure that if you see a player on Battle.net with a hardcore character, you're going to know that that's a hardcore character. And creating a hardcore character is a status symbol, and we want to make sure it's only a status symbol if you know. So we'll definitely look for ways to reward players. Now, I'm sure we'll have a set of hardcore achievements and things like that. So,
Jay, I hate to do it to you, but I've got to ask, platforms, and when can people expect to play this one?
We will not announce a release date. Our release date's always when it's done. Platforms, PC and Macintosh.
Jay, thank you very much for your time. And stay tuned to GameSpot for ongoing coverage from Gamescom 2010.